Then the American came in 1941 and they built the international airport. But it will take us about 45-50 minutes. We need to drive slowly because, as you have maybe noticed, it's a wee bit slippery, like the Scottish would say. And so we will drive slowly over the heath. We will, when we are out of Reykjavik, which we think of course is a very big capital, but we know in our heart it's not so big. It's just like a suburb in your country. And when we are out of the capital, I will start the lesson. I know that many of you do know a lot about the lights, and maybe some of you have also seen the lights somewhere. But I do hope that I will add something new to your knowledge. So when we are out of the capital, I will start. Just be prepared. From the capital. We are driving to the national park. Maybe some of you have already been there, have you? Yes, but some haven't. But sorry for you guys that haven't been there. You will not see a thing. It's dark, but it's a beautiful place in bright daylight. So you need to be back.
Yes, we did.
Yeah.
Yes, we did.
Through the last suburb of Reykjavik. And soon we will take the turn over the heath, and on the other side of the heath is the national park, Þingvellir, where we are going tonight. I mentioned that the lights, that's the reason why we are here tonight. And I sometimes describe it like going fishing. You might stand by the river the whole day and you will not get a thing. And then your best friend comes and he gets two within an hour. You are not very happy about that, but that's nature. And that's the same around the lights. We can calculate a little bit, but mostly we are not very accurate about when they are and when they start. But we call the lights the Northern Lights, probably just because they are here at north, but that is not the real name of the lights. The real name of the lights is Aurora Borealis. It was Galileo Galilei that gave the lights the name Aurora. And why Aurora? Who was Aurora? She was a Roman goddess. She was the goddess of the dawn. And she opened the gate for her brother the sun to come through every morning. And if we are lucky tonight and we will see the lights, you will realize that it might look like the day is starting, even though the night has not yet begun. But Borealis, what's Borealis? That means from north. And that's the reason why we ask you to look towards north. But what's the light? Why do we see light up in the sky? When can we see it? At what time do we see it? That means, what time do the light start? That's the most common question. And the second common question is, how long do they last? Then the questions are the questions about how do they look like and what's the real color. Those are the most popular questions around the lights. Some of them it's easy to answer, others it's impossible to answer. But just a little bit extra because we are driving here, you can see lights here on our right hand side now and left hand side. So these are all greenhouses heated up with heat from the ground. And here on this area they mostly grow roses. But that was extra. But the question, what's the light and why do we see light up in the sky? Then we need to take our mind to the sun. From the sun are flying particles, charged particles. We call those particles the solar wind or the solar storm. Sometimes the storm is weak and sometimes it's rather strong. Those charged particles are flying around in the universe, hitting all the planets that's there. And of course planet Earth as well. But planet Earth has a magnetic shield around for protection. The magnetic shield is very thick in the middle, but closer to the poles it's not so thick. So when those charged particles from the sun hit planet Earth, they kind of get stuck in the magnetic shield and they slide towards the poles. Where the magnetic shield is not so thick. There they form a kind of a halo, a ring spinning around the poles. And because that the magnetic shield is not so thick there, they can come through into the atmosphere. There they can come in contact with the particles inside the atmosphere. And when that happens, that's the electricity we can see up in the sky. That's the light. I mentioned that the solar wind is sometimes strong and sometimes weak. It's measured from 0 to 10. When the solar wind is very strong, then I mean 8, 9, 10, this halo that is spinning around the pole presses further down to the center, to the middle of the planet. And when that happens, the lights are visible in countries in the middle of the planet. And that happened last January the 19th of January. The lights were visible in England and Scotland, Denmark, Germany, and many states of America. That happened too last year. But mostly the strength of the solar wind is up to 4-5. Then the halo is spinning around the pole. And that's the reason why the lights are more often visible in countries closer to the pole. Like this island, for example, in the middle of nowhere. And Sweden, Norway, Finland, Greenland, Alaska, and many other countries. But at the South Pole, the name of the lights is Aurora Australis. And now I would like you to take your mind to the South Pole. And if you decide to go or travel to the South Pole to see the lights, to what country or countries could you travel to? Or is there a country? And it's forbidden to Google. It's the southern part of Chile and Argentina. Otherwise, it would be best for you to hire a boat and sail to Antarctica. But at what time of the year is the best time to see the lights? I mentioned at the beginning that we needed the darkness. So, can you come here in June and check for the lights? No. That's right. Here in June, the 21st of June, we have 24 hours of bright daylight. You can come here and look at the midnight sun. Absolutely gorgeous. Especially if you play golf, because there is a midnight golf competition up north. Starts 12 at midnight. But no, you cannot come to check for the lights. The solar storm is still going on. It's just that it's too bright, we cannot see it. So the best time is from mid-August to mid-April. But what time of the day is the best time? That's the most popular question. When do they start?
3 a.m.
And that's the question it's almost impossible to answer. Because we can calculate a little bit, but we can never be quite accurate. But we can say that mostly they are visible between 10 in the evening and 2 at night. But I only say mostly because sometimes they start early and sometimes they start late. But the next question, how long do they last? That's another question that's impossible to answer. Because sometimes they last only for a few minutes. And sometimes they last for half an hour, the whole evening. And sometimes they last for the whole night. We never know. Then we get the question about how do they look like. I guess that if you haven't already seen the lights somewhere, you have all seen pictures of the lights. And if I can promise you one thing, if we are lucky tonight to see the lights, I can promise you that you will not see the lights as you have seen them on some picture. And the reason for that is that this is nature. The lights are never the same. The only people that will see the lights as you will see them, if we are lucky, are the people that are with you on the same spot at the same time. But even though there were two people standing side by side and taking pictures, those pictures will not be exactly the same, because the speed of the lights is so high that they are moving so fast that those pictures will not be exactly the same. Sometimes the lights look like a bow, and sometimes they stay like this bow the whole time. Sometimes they look like lines, vertical lines or horizontal lines. Sometimes they look like a haze up in the sky, and sometimes they look like sea waves all over the place. We never know how they will look like. I also guess that you have all seen pictures of the lights. And another promise. I keep giving promises. I can promise you, if we are lucky tonight, that you will not see the same colors with your eyes as you have seen on some picture. On the pictures, you mostly have seen the green color, haven't you? Yes. But the reason why we will not see the same green color is both nature and technique. We we are not night animals, even though I wish sometimes I had the eyes of a cat. But no, our eyes sees the lights more greenish, greenish, I can say. And then you take a picture and you will see the green color. And that's because the camera eye is a much better eye than ours. Sometimes, if we can see the green color, sometimes we get what we call a kind of an experience.
సెల్ఫీ కూడా వస్తుందక్క.
ఇట్లా వస్తుంది బ్రో ఇక్కడ నుంచి